So the title of the webinar is How are MNOs unlocking new revenues and partnerships with CPaaS providers through capitalizing on virtual mobile numbers. The agenda really here is to do some obviously brief introductions to Partitionware for those of you who don't or haven't heard of us. I know some of you have. Talk you through what is a virtual mobile number, explain the market opportunity, and advise how virtual mobile numbers generate revenue for mobile operators. Additionally, we will talk through how an MNO can offer virtual mobile numbers and obviously how our platform enables that and its benefits. And then we'll go through our approach and model. So to start with introductions, so obviously I'm Zachary Caldrick, Head of Sales, nice LinkedIn photo here. And my colleague Tom Shark is on the line from the technical side, in case we have any strange technical questions. He's our lead solution architect. Partitionware is based in the Isle of Man, headquartered there, and we've been providing services as part of PDMS originally since 1992. It was split off from the main PDMS company in 2008, and that's when officially it became Partitionware, and we were acquired towards the end of 2016 by Vanin Ventures, the ventures arm of Manx Telecom Group PLC. So we're a wholly owned subsidiary of Manx Telecom Group. So moving on to the main reason you're all here. So what are virtual mobile numbers? So they're effectively a premium mobile numbering product. They evolved from finding solutions to problems with A2P, traditional A2P long numbers, or enhancing the traditional A2P long numbers to support rich communications products for enterprise businesses and consumers. Effectively, they're a full-featured mobile number that supports both two-way voice and SMS, mobile number portability into and out of a virtual mobile number service, international and short code SMS, and it's obviously not attached to a SIM. Typically, it's attached to, the numbers are attached onto a web-based application, which we'll talk more about in a minute. So who would use mobile numbers? So we split this into a few different categories. They're used for customer engagement, interaction. So you think of Uber as a great use case when you need to send an SMS or make a call from an Uber driver. You don't want to share your mobile number, and likewise, he probably doesn't want to share his with everybody who gets into his Uber taxi. So you can use temporary virtual mobile numbers assigned by a CPaaS aggregator like Twilio, and therefore you can have anonymous two-way communications. Obviously, you can see that also applies to Airbnb, could apply to takeaway food services such as Just Eat, online dating, online adult content, and other online transactions. The next area is effectively multiple cross-border mobile identities. So that is providing a secondary mobile number for diaspora communities or international business users. One example is there's a service whereby the Polish expat community in the UK are able to take a Polish number, have that linked to a soft client on their mobile device, and then they can make and receive calls over that client and SMS, importantly, with their family at local rates. So we've talked about the customer engagement and interaction use cases. We talked about the individuals use cases. The next one is corporate enterprise and SME, and this is where we've seen a real big uptake in use of virtual mobile numbers. So the first is for finance and compliance use cases. So one of the big issues or big new regulations that have come in the last year or so is MiFID II in Europe and Dodd-Frank over in the US. This means that all banks effectively have to record all communications, voice or messaging from their employees to customers and keep those recordings for 6 years. Now, a lot of their employees are making calls or having SMS with their customers using their personal mobile devices. Additionally, a lot of the SIMs that the banks were providing to their employees were not having SIM-based voice and SMS recording. Using a virtual mobile number, effectively a service provider in the UK is offering banks a software and application which they can white label as Barclays, for example, or HSBC. They can put a virtual mobile number on there, give that to all of their employees, and if they ever need to communicate with a customer, it's the transaction or the communication is recorded, whether that's voice or messaging, in both directions. Another big use case we're seeing is bring your own device. So it's obviously costly to provide mobile devices or secondary mobile devices to employees. So you can give them a virtual mobile number on a soft client instead of a full mobile device and SIM contract. In the future, and what we've seen begin to happen, is an SMS-enabled DDIs linked to PBX, switchboard, or contact center numbers. So that means that a contact center agent has their own mobile DDI, which they can use for both voice and SMS to communicate with customers. And it's the virtual mobile numbers support legacy A2P two-way conversations on voice and text for marketing and customer engagement. So where's the opportunity? So as a mobile operator, you're able to sell services like virtual mobile numbers to CPaaS providers, companies like Twilio, Nexmo, MessageBird, Google, and many others now are in the market for these types of products and services, which they buy direct or through aggregators of such services. Then corporate customers, banks, online companies like we've already talked about, Airbnb and Uber, and other alternative service providers targeting consumers or enterprise can buy those virtual mobile numbers from those aggregators. Obviously, as you can see, effectively that generates money for the mobile network operators. So how can it generate money? So there's, first of all, it's traffic on an unused mobile number. So you've got many mobile operators have got lots of unused mobile number ranges, and they can monetize those ranges by making them virtual mobile numbers. You can bill for number rentals or number leases. You can bill for mobile terminating revenue to other mobile network operators for any inbound traffic to those numbers, and for any mobile originating traffic from your partners, CPaaS partners. It's a premium product, which means it supports premium use cases like we've talked about before, for banking or for bring your own device or DDIs with SMS enabled. But it also can be used for A2P low margin opportunities like bulk SMS services or voice. How did Partitionware initially enable virtual mobile numbers? So it goes back to 2014. We were approached by one of our partners. 3UK had an interesting problem in that they needed to offer a single identity for one of their app MNO customers to support both voice and SMS with the option to port numbers in and out of the service. We realized we actually already had a product that could deliver this service. It's our virtual VLR, which we use for network-based extensions, such as enabling people to communicate while on private jets. So we repurposed this, and we now call it our virtual mobile number hub service. Platform's integrated with several leading mobile network operators, and we're actively seeking new mobile operator partners in other countries throughout Europe and the rest of the world. We're approaching and working with operators direct or indirect through our channel partners and resale partners for the VMN Hub service, one of which is Comphone. So what does the Hub do? So it provides a secure bridge between aggregators and application providers, such as the banking service provider we talked about, CPaaS aggregators like Twilio and MessageBird, and the mobile network operator's core network. It emulates a node visitor location register in the mobile core network, so it's simple for mobile operators to integrate, requiring a one-time SECP signaling integration, a voice integration, and then agreement on a billing, i.e. CDRs, and provisioning method with the host mobile network operator. Once that's done, on the partner side, it enables both SMS, voice, or both at the same time, and gives those partners, such as the aggregators we talked about, NGN protocols that they're used to working with and are relatively quick and easy to build new products and services on top of, like SIP and SMPP for voice and messaging, and XML-based APIs for provisioning and deactivating numbers. We can support on the platform as many aggregated partners per MNO as required, which obviously makes it quite a unique proposition. And where we have more than one MNO, partners, aggregators can take services from more than one MNO by their connectivity into the hub. There's a lot of features and benefits. Won't go into these now. We're going to share the slides after the show. after the webinar. And in summary, these are the main ones. It's a future-proof solution, which enables lots of premium communications use cases and new advanced communications opportunities. We can offer it with a rapid time to market, our hub service. It's proven to create incremental and significant revenues for mobile network operators via a cost-effective operational product model and a short payback period. It's proven with 3 among other leading mobile network operators, and we offer a no-hassle growth path. This is a quick diagram about how it works. So our bit is this bit in the middle. This would be a signaling carrier like Comphone. This would be a mobile network operator like 3. And then this would be an aggregator or a service provider like Twilio, or a banking service provider, or any other use case that we've already talked about. I won't go into the technical details. We can discuss that separately if anyone has any questions, but this is just a slide to give you an overview. And then this slide talks about the different ways we can deploy our VM and hub service for mobile operators. So all our services are provided as fully hosted and managed, but can be deployed in following ways to suit mobile operators' preferences. So first is dedicated hardware. Some operators like to have everything their own. They don't want to share it or take a cloud-based model. Dedicated hardware we can still host in our data center, or it can go in the MNOs data center, or Comphones if they're taking the reseller model. Also, other alternatives are hybrid model, where there is basically a core instance in our network, and we put local SBCs and signaling gateways for local breakout into the MNO. Or they can take a pure cloud model, either in the Partitionware's cloud, or a more global cloud infrastructure such as Amazon or Google. So how do we approach and provide services? So we take all of these things on the left, the traditional vendors where you're buying CapEx boxes or licenses from would charge for, and we wrap that up into a single platform as a service pricing fee, which is transactional pricing and minimal setup fees. So I think that sort of brings us to an end. What I'd suggest now is we have a few questions and we can take it from there. So I'm just going to unmute Guy, who hopefully has been picking up any questions as we go through.
Yes, thank you, Zach. That was very informative, and we certainly appreciate you sharing all of those insights with us. I have had a number of questions that have come through. I'll start with the easiest one, which I think would be, what's a typical deployment timeline for the service?
Okay, so typically that comes down more to the MNO than us. We have integrated our platform, which we use for the virtual mobile number hub, the VVLR, with an operator, and is listed as a couple of days. But we are reliant on the MNO to provide us with the connectivity, which we talked about on one of the slides, slide 14, I think it was, and obviously the signaling connectivity voice. So which is rarely going to happen in a few days because they have their own internal procedures that they need to go through. Hopefully that answers the question.
Yes, I think so. And anyone who's more interested could look back at the diagram and see about the capabilities they need to activate. Okay, there's another question. What's the role of Comphone here, and how do they help to provide the service?
Okay, so we leverage existing signaling that typically Comphone have in place with mobile operators. So the Comphone are basically a signaling hub and a roaming hub. They nearly always have SS7 signaling or SCCP signaling already in place with different their MNO customers. So we're working with Comphone's customers and any new customers to Comphone who are interested in this service. And they're acting as a sales channel for us, and also as a way to make the integration lighter touch for the mobile operator.
Right, so if somebody is connected to Comphone today, but hadn't been previously aware of this service, then they can very easily access it through those existing arrangements.
That's right.
Okay, wonderful. And then there's one last question that I see here, and this is quite a fundamental one actually. I think you did elaborate a little bit, but perhaps you can say more. What does it cost?
Okay, so the model, as I touched on one of the last slides there, is transactional. So we charge a fraction of a pence per minute or per SMS. It varies depending on the market and the cost per minute or per SMS in each market. But we are trying to keep the model very cost competitive with some basic revenue commitments to ensure that everyone's got some teeth in the game, and as little setup fees as possible to cover just deployment and integration costs in terms of professional services or hardware. So hopefully we can obviously discuss pricing direct with any potential customers after this. Hopefully that gives people an idea how we work.
Okay, yes, that's very clear. Thanks, Zach. I don't see any further questions, but of course, should anyone wish to type something, then please do so before Zach completes the session, or else contact him directly afterwards.
Okay, so I think we've got one more question coming here from Divya about how different is this from Twilio's offering. So I think the key point in terms of what we offer is we're enabling the mobile operator to offer this service to aggregators like Twilio. Twilio obviously offer virtual numbers for voice and virtual numbers for SMS. And I think they have got some numbers that do voice and SMS, but they don't all have the features that we're able to enable and have enabled 3 in the UK, which is mobile number portability, support for SMS home routing, and obviously two-way voice and SMS without any issues with international SMS not working, or sometimes inbound SMS aren't received. Hopefully that answers your question, Divya. Please ask again if you have something wanted to find something else. No, it's okay. And any other final questions, or I think perhaps we're done. Okay, well, I can only thank everyone for joining on the webinar. I hope you appreciate it. If you've got any questions, the contact details will be shared after the presentation as well. All right, thanks everybody.